Hello and welcome. You are watching the TMC Newsroom. My name is Rich Tehrani. On our program today is Peter Schmidt. He is the CTO North America of ipanema. Hello, Peter.
Hello, Rich.
So I thought we'd start out by talking about your company's name. I normally don't ask that question, but how'd you get that really cool name? And then after that, let us know about the company, what it does.
Sure. Well, Ipanema is a beach in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And it's best known here for the song "The Girl from Ipanema," which I'm sorry if it's running through all of our viewers' minds right now.
It's been running through my head for the last hour.
But our company is based around IP networking at the very lowest level. And our founders wanted a name with IP in it, and one of them is a jazz trumpeter. He plays in the jazz clubs in Paris. And so he loves the song "The Girl from Ipanema," and that's how we got the name.
That's awesome. And I understand that in your documents, your company's documents, it actually says that anybody who interviews you on video, you have to send them to Ipanema Beach. Is that true?
That is absolutely true, as long as you deliver a big order into our hands.
So viewers, please help us out here. Call them up, buy something, please. I really want to go to the beach.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what does the company do exactly?
We are helping large enterprises manage the transformation that the cloud is bringing to their IT infrastructure.
Okay.
So if you think about it, prior to the cloud, companies were struggling to manage a single private network, typically over MPLS, with their branch offices with the entire infrastructure in their control. And now the promise of the cloud is that they can start federating their IT out in a variety of ways. And there's a lot of flexibility. There's software as a service, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, there's pure bare metal hosting, and there are multiple new network options as well. So we're getting beyond MPLS private networks. We're starting to get Metro Ethernet, carrier Ethernet services, cheap cable and fiber connections to branch offices. The range is tremendous. And so the opportunities are huge. But if you take an IT organization that was working at capacity to manage their own infrastructure that they owned over a single carrier-provided MPLS network, and now say, you have a hybrid network that combines your old MPLS network and now increasingly the internet, whether that internet traffic is being backhauled to your data centers and then going out or back, you're now fundamentally integrated with the rest of the world. How do they manage that transformation of their IT infrastructure? Well, there are a couple critical pieces. We're familiar with products like vMotion that allow you to dynamically provision more server capacity in the back end and bring it up, bring it down, move it around as needed. Ipanema's technology is uniquely suited for unifying this hybrid networking environment and making it fully manageable as if it were a single network again. In fact, better than when it was a single network, because we have this unique autonomic networking technology that automatically is going to manage these disparate networks, unify them, bring them together, and provide you with full application reporting, dynamic QoS, acceleration, all in one integrated service that you can either deploy yourself or you can buy from a carrier provider.
And what's the typical customer size?
Typical customer size for us is from medium up through very large enterprise. So we have a lot of customers with on the order of 5 to 15 sites, but we're the only company that has deployments of this kind of technology with thousands of sites that are all under the control of our single central management system and the distributed appliances around there. Our sweet spot, honestly, spans that whole range. And the reason I can say that with a straight face is that we really have unique technology. We've taken a different approach than everybody else in networking in the past 25 years that I've been involved in enterprise networking. For us, it's not about what sites you have and how many people at each site and which apps they're running at those sites, and then going up from there.
Right.
We come down from the top. We say what it's about is guaranteeing good performance to your users.
Okay.
I mean, think about it for a minute. The whole reason IT exists is to facilitate businesses getting their business done.
Right.
The users in those businesses get their jobs done through using applications.
Correct.
Today.
Right.
So all that matters is that their applications perform well for those users, so that they can be efficient getting their job done. If a user has poor application performance, what do? Well, today they go hit Facebook, or they start surfing YouTube.
Right.
They've got options
right.
right there in their browser. And if you lock that
down.
They
had options before they could nap.
Right, or they go to the water cooler or go get a smoke, right? So the key, though, is that if you can keep the applications performing well, so things are snappy, then there's less worry about poor user productivity. And the soft savings of that are huge. The other thing that's happened
Well, I mean, if I could just throw in, don't forget the next point. There is, when I was in university, this is going back now a number of years, but there was studies showing that people who are brought up on computers have shorter and shorter attention spans. In fact, it causes people that are in front of a computer all day have trouble interfacing with other human beings because they're used to instantaneous reactions. If they don't get them, they get very frustrated.
Exactly.
They actually get agitated, and it causes disharmonious relationships. And so the point, I guess, is that I would add on to that as a culture, we have become so ADD tolerant, or in fact, ADD used to this ADD nature of
multitasking.
News. Well, just even if you look at a news show on an HD TV, let's say it's a CNN or a Fox or a CNBC, there's information everywhere, and we're absorbing all that. So that's the rate at which we are used to absorbing information.
Yep.
So the productivity point that you made shouldn't be taken lightly, because if you don't have that response level, you receive a high level of frustration from those users. I'm actually getting a new computer. Yesterday, my IT guys were in my office, and they said, you need a new computer, because it just wasn't responsive enough for my needs. So I sense that exactly.
Exactly, and that's the critical issue. And IT struggled to try and come to grips with that issue traditionally, because traditional network management and operations was all manually based.
Sure.
And so it was very hard to get a handle on application responsiveness and where the root causes were, because they change. You know, it's a balloon that you squeeze it one place, it goes elsewhere. You invest more in servers, now the bottleneck's going to become the network.
Right.
So being able, what our technology enables is what my colleagues in Europe call industrialization of the infrastructure, by which they mean turning these multiple networks you're now using to access your cloud of resources into a reliable production engine, like a just-in-time manufacturing line.
But this is not WAN acceleration, then it's also the local area. Is that correct?
It incorporates everything from the client to the server without being on the client or the server. So we have to be able to control and measure all that traffic.
You potentially compete with would be calling themselves WAN acceleration?
Well, yes. I mean, we often...
Load balancing? I mean, I'm just trying to understand what application acceleration, like what, or are you something that's all of those?
Well, we have a unified all-in-one system that combines application performance visibility, so that's like the APM space.
Okay.
It has WAN acceleration, WAN optimization, so
Okay.
that's like the WAN optimization controller space.
Okay.
It integrates intelligently with virtualized environments, so it's similar to the application delivery controller space.
Okay.
And it has the most advanced QoS, dynamic QoS available, so it sort of sits on top of MPLS. So the thing we struggle with as a company, honestly,
I understand your trouble.
Is that
how do you brand yourself?
It's how do we brand ourselves? We don't fit neatly in the
I
box.
understand fully.
So we're competing for budget dollars with Riverbed sometimes,
Sure.
with NetScout sometimes, with cheap bandwidth sometimes.
Sure.
But the customers that understand the value we're going to bring in terms of being able to embrace all of the capabilities the system offers end up with a network that is much lower cost to operate.
Because you're really taking complexity out by being kind of managing a bunch of different things for your customers,
all at once.
right?
You know,
so there's a slightly higher learning curve and a slightly higher cost in the beginning, but then over time the TCO is lower.
Well, the TCO is certainly lower, and I would even argue that the upfront cost is no higher than putting in competing WAN optimization solutions.
Okay.
Because what we've done is we've understood that by working from application performance objectives, we can automate a huge amount of management activity that traditionally was done manually. And we take the human out of the loop and make it possible for a computer to do that job via algorithms. Well, we all know what incredible benefits we derive from automation in general.
Sure.
That's really what we're doing, is we're enabling you to automate the operation of your network. So there'll be a report with our system that shows the performance of all your applications for all your users on your network. And it'll show green, yellow, or red. The idea is that should all be green, at least for the critical business applications. You don't care about YouTube.
Right.
But the critical ones should all be green. If you look at that report, and this is an actual report our system gives you. You look at that report and all your critical applications are green everywhere. That means your cloud is fine. There is no issue you need to worry about. There might be a router running at 98% CPU utilization. There might be a circuit that's in alarm somewhere. There could be any sort of low-level things that would cause SNMP traps. But none of them are impairing users' application performance experience. So we don't have to worry about those anymore.
Okay, so obviously, this is a new area where the viewers are going to have to, or they probably are going to have questions
Yes.
to learn more. So the thing that I would like is to know how they can find out more about your company. Where do they go? What do they do?
Well, we're on, of course, we have our website, which is ipanematech.com, ipanematech.com.
Okay.
We're also on Twitter and
Okay.
on Facebook. And there's a blog that goes through a lot of these fundamental concepts in more detail than I've been able to talk about today. But I think the real proof is that we have partnerships with many of the largest telecom and ISPs in the world who are delivering services based on us. And believe me, going through the process to be certified as a service that they'll deliver is a rigorous process.
Oh yeah, I can vouch for that.
And we have
Sure.
tens of thousands of deployed sites around the world being managed in this way. I mean, we're not a raw startup. We're on version 6.0 of our software. So we've been around for a while. We have a track record.
You're really well kept secret, it sounds like.
Well, we have been in North America, and we're trying to change that, and that's why I'm here talking to you.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. Thanks for being on the program, and good luck.
Thank you.
Knock them dead out there.
Yeah, we'll try.
And don't forget, I want that vacation on the beach, so
No.
please call.
Yeah, help him out, please.